So it finishes Villa 2, Forest 1. But have the games gone our way today? Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Yes, it's back. Were you lot thinking it was going to be the other one?
I told you to save that one. Save it.
Evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. And we got a lot to break down from yesterday's game. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Are you annoyed? Are you all right with it? Were you expecting it? Should we have done better? Should we have done worse? All these kind of things.
Yeah.
The real proper breakdown. Don't forget.
I can just say Ant's looking a lot better. So he obviously needed a few days off, but he's looking a lot better now, mate.
Oh, are you seeing him?
No, I mean,
he's there, right?
Oh.
It's not Ant's replacement, is it?
Oh my!
It is if we do this. There we go.
In his rightful place.
Hey,
you tumbleweed me? No way. I got tumbleweed.
Right, it didn't land with me at all. I'm not gonna lie, man. I thought you'd gone and seen Ant today.
I've been sleeping like 5 weeks.
I don't know. Does Tom look like a younger version of Ant though?
Yeah. Ant will say. Ant will hope so. Yeah.
The same hat, the same black hat.
How are you, Tom? You good, bro?
I'm very good. And as soon as you're going to put me in as a replacement as Ant, I got to do an Ant rant at some point too.
Well, you're going to have to answer for your
hold
crimes.
the chalice of what is Ant and give it to at least Rob once.
Bring it on.
I mean, you've got, we've given you a couple of episodes. You've broken in and everything. We've been nice. But no, you said we were going to win every game. So we're going to come to you, Tom. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Rob hasn't had his sweater on. That's why we lost. There's a lot of blame game going on right now.
Right, it's a lovely hat, and it only works at home. So get it right.
All right. Okay. Georgie boy, 1 month away from the 1 year anniversary. Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it. As you can see, yes, there is no Ant. Some would say that's a blessing. Some would say maybe not. We're going to talk about these City games. We'll talk about the Chelsea game and all this stuff and what it means for the race. But let's start with the Forest. Okay, so who wants to kick us off? Who have I spoken to? Yeah, I don't think I've spoken to you, Ben. Ben, you're on mute. So
no, you haven't spoken. I don't think you've spoken to me. I did the show straight after. But I want Ben to go first because I'm
sorry, my dog just did a break and entry into the.
Your beard's looking pretty good today. A little darker.
I know. I was gonna shave it, but got the tan.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Well,
look, firstly, I want to apologize for the to the German people who were sat next to me in the bar yesterday watching the football, because I may have called Nico Williams a senior a few times. And I may have caused one of the women to spill her drink in horror when I stood up and screamed at the TV. So apologies to the people who didn't want to watch the football in there. Where's my tan? This is my tan, man.
That's his tan. You were lobster red.
It's tan.
War, aren't they?
I was looking like Rob's T-shirt last week. Now it's,
Yeah, it's calmed down.
Full lobster, you were.
Yeah.
Full lobster.
It would be full Trump.
I get my fake tan on soon, and then ruin everybody's pensions. But anyway, I mean, somebody said it. I didn't actually open the screenshot, but it was a game of two halves. Something that Ez doesn't see very often. But the first half was just trash. It was absolute trash. I don't know how we came out and played like that when in the second half I thought we were actually quite good. But we looked lost, and I'm sorry, but I am now blaming this on two people. One of them is Lemmy, and one of them is the Forest recruitment team. This is exactly what we predicted. If people get injured and we lose our core players, we're going to have problems like this. And I think it shows us how much we rely on Chris Wood and players like Ola Reina and our best players on the pitch. Because yesterday we just looked absolutely awful. And when we went in at half time, I thought we were going to come out and, lose 4 or 5-0. So fair play to them in the second half. But I thought it was dreadful, to be honest. I thought Nuno got the formation wrong. I don't know why Nico Williams was on the left and Morato was on the right, because if anything, Morato is a left back when he's not playing centre back. So I thought he got that wrong. I would have liked seeing Jota Silva start, because for me, more naturally, he's a striker as opposed to a winger. And I thought he did very well actually when he came on, Jota Silva. And it was a breath of fresh air to see that maybe there is someone there who could step in for a Wani. But it was dreadful, really. I mean, the first half especially was just it was piss poor. And like I say, I let everybody in the bar know. And it's full of German Villa fans. Like, I'm sure they were just supporting them because exactly they were just cheering the opposition, which was pissing me off even more. Because I was sat there the whole game going no and swearing, and then every time Villa scored, it's like yeah, come on Villa, yeah, and it's like I was fuming, mate. I was fuming, and I was drinking beer, and I never drink beer. They didn't have any WKD. They didn't have any WKD. It is a disaster. I nearly walked out. I nearly got on a plane last night and came home.
Which you did today. All right, but let me ask you something, right? So you said we're clearly missing Woods. Who was the other one you said?
Aina. Awani in theory.
Okay.
There's no backup to our backup. There's no Aina.
Right. So where were they so what happened in the second half? Because I didn't see him come on in the second half.
Well, the second half we played better, but don't forget that Villa were effectively sitting back, right? They were allowing us to play better. Yes, the football was good in the second half, and I thought actually we could have potentially at least drawn. I mean, if we were more clinical, that Nico Williams shot from inside the box where he skied it high, wide, and right. I mean, that was atrocious. And I think he had another shot from the right. Callum Hudson-Odoi had some. Morgan Gibbs-White had some. Yeah, we definitely played better, but Villa were clearly trying to hold out a 2-0 lead. So we're always going to look better when they're just sitting back, letting us attack effectively. If Villa had come out that second half and did what they did, we would have lost 4 or 5-0.
Villa should have finished us in that first half. If Villa had anything about them, they should have destroyed us that first half, pretty much like.
Yeah, but I think what Unai Emery said is that we're 2 goals ahead. Forest most likely to score on the counter, so let's play against them and let's just sit back and low block. Let's not give them a chance to counter. Let's just sit in our box and let them attack us, and it worked effectively.
Well, the changes that he made second half obviously did make us more progressive, but it changed the way they played, more importantly. But Wolf, you'll know, I mean, I went on to Judge Mo's channel straight after the game yesterday. And initially, my reaction was probably similar, because I look back on your player ratings, probably similar to what your feelings were on the player ratings. That I wasn't that angry. I was a little bit disappointed, obviously, with the end result, but expected that to be the toughest game. But there's a lot of things to take from that game. One, it clearly shows the difference in squad depth. They made 8 changes to their starting lineup, and it was still competitive. And the quality they had to bring off the bench as well. So they're a team at least 2 seasons ahead of us in terms of their recruitment and their progression. And they spent money in January that nobody else did in the league, and whether you like these players or not, they're certainly delivering. And they've put themselves in a position. But what I don't like with what I'm hearing from Villa fans is all of a sudden they think they're going to catch us. Worry about yourselves, yeah? Worry about your own league instead of trying to think you're going to catch Forest. Because Forest's games, I would say, I already marked this one as probably the most difficult, and Crystal Palace away. But the rest of the games, I'm expecting maximum points. I'm expecting maximum points at home to Everton. I'm expecting to go away to Spurs and get at least a point, if not 2 points. Those kind of results, I think that will.
I'm going to draw them twice.
I think we'll beat them. To be honest, I think we'll beat.
How do you get 2 points?
No, I said no. What I didn't say 2 points.
You just said at least a point or 2 points.
Okay, I meant a point or 3, right? Anyway, so I expect us to pick up points in our remaining games. So to think that they're going to catch us is not going to happen. What I was pissed off about, and I'm sorry for using that language, was on reflection, the amount of chances we created and the good quality chances as well. but we couldn't even hit the target with, because their keeper is so overrated. He is so overrated, and he's got a mistake in him as well. You know, he'll pull off the odd, you know, worldie, but he's got a mistake in him, and we saw it in the reverse fixture this season. You know, he pulled off a worldie against Dominguez and let one in from Milenkovic from the header. So I think we should have. I actually think not only should we have got a point out of it, in the end we should have actually won that game with the amount of chances we created. And the major change was, once he'd bought Jota Silva on us, not giving their goalkeeper all that time on the ball. He was getting all that time to just pick. So as soon as they started pressing him, he had to go long, and we were winning the first ball and we were winning the second ball. And that's what kept the pressure on. If you look at that second half, it's exactly what we did. We won every single ball in the air, and we won every single second ball, and it kept that pressure on them. And we should have come away with a win. So I'm actually peeved off, and I'm peeved off because I don't think Nuno got the formation wrong. I think it's idiots like Morato who's actually pissing me off right now with his attitude when he comes on the pitch. Yesterday, I don't know if he obviously thinks he's got more time in the Premier League, but you do not have time to be adjusting your shin pads or tying your laces when the opposition or in your half taking a free kick. That split second of him not concentrating gave Morgan Rogers a free run on goal, basically, and he's a quality player. That's the difference. We've got players like Morgan Gibbs-White and Anderson who we'd put up against Morgan Rogers, but that lad can finish. He can do everything else, and he can finish as well. Now, maybe he's a season ahead of at least Anderson, but that's where we want to get to, and that's a quality we should be looking at. And the quality they had to make all those changes and to bring off the bench is the difference yesterday. And we created chances, but we could not put them away. But I will not have Nuno being blamed for that. I don't think the formation was wrong. I think we played like idiots. But even their second goal, you can have a go at Nico Williams for not seeing Malen over his shoulder. But that's past 3 central defenders to get to him. There's no way that crossing lane shouldn't have been blocked by our 3 central defenders. So I'm not blaming Nico on that one totally. I'm blaming the players for not playing their roles the way they would probably train throughout the week. So I'm not blaming Nuno for formation yesterday. I'm blaming the players for not doing their jobs yesterday. They're appalling in that first half. Yeah, they fixed in the second half, but Nuno's obviously got into them. But that's my little rant.
Their finishing is atrocious.
Show us these videos of him taking, shooting practice. Don't show us that until you're scoring goals, because all of them seem to be doing well in it. Even Milenkovic scores goals in those, but none of them can hit the target.
Hey, I was so pissed off last night. I went to the 5-a-side court in the hotel. I took a football. I took 5 shots from about 30 yards out into a tiny little 5-a-side goal, and I scored every one. Now, yes, there wasn't the pressure of 11 people trying to tackle me, and there wasn't 30,000 people watching me. But
or a goalkeeper,
or a goalkeeper.
But apart from that, it was very realistic simulation.
They all went in the goal, which is my point.
Yeah, and he's not even lying because he sent me the video.
I want to see what the German fans thought that had seen you spitting your dummy out in the bar, drinking beer, and go, look at the guy outside, he's keeping footballs along.
Yeah, I was fuming, and then I sent it to Wolfie to reiterate how pissed off I was.
I didn't know what it was. He sent it to me, right, and it was just some dude's feet kicking a ball into a net.
That is grounding again.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So anyway, all right. Just before we get on to Tom and Rob, shout out to Dylan with the 27 months. You guys played some really good stuff second half. I do agree. I thought we were very good second half. Thank you for the 27, bud. And Jolly Ollie, he's always jolly. 1 month away from his 2 years. Absolute legend. And Chris with the £2 who says they were holding on, not sitting back. Tom, what's your take on this, Tom? Were they holding on in the second half, or did they sit back? Was it a bit like the Newcastle game where we went, was it 3 or 4 down? I can't even remember what that was. 3, wasn't it, at halftime?
4.
Did 4? Bloody hell. My memory's getting so bad, man. But yeah, Tom, what was your take on it?
We seem to have this uncanny ability to play really badly for a period of time, and then it's like the side comes out and it's a different side. You look at what happened in the first half, it's human error, it's a defensive error by Morata. Maybe he's just playing in the wrong position because that's the second time he's been in that position and got caught out. Then you get Ryan Yates gets spinned. Usually you've got Ola Einar in that position. That's not going to happen with him there. So you're playing, okay, we don't have a right back to replace. So, okay. We did have chances in the first half. Alanga through. Yeah. I thought we were going to have another Manchester United moment. Chow puts one past the post. And then we come out in the second half and it was a ferocious onslaught either side of Jota's goal. And with the millimeters, that small difference in it's in or it's out. I honestly thought we deserved the bare minimum a draw from that game.
Yeah, I agree.
And I woke up because I'm obviously like 7 hours behind you guys. I look at the score and I'm like, I'm going to be held accountable for this because I'm not allowed to believe in fairies. I'm not allowed to believe in unicorns. I'm not allowed to believe a pot at the end of a bloody rainbow. And yes, I did predict the whole season we wouldn't lose. But did we really lose? Because
yes,
I think we can take a lot. We can take a lot from that second half performance.
We lost, and Murillo really missed that shot as well.
Yeah, don't say we won the second half. I'm not having.
You sound like Man United after Tuesday's game. They don't think they lost.
We won the second half.
You ain't on 90-Day Fiance here, Tom. You will be held accountable to what you say, bro. Right? You don't get second takes on this.
Put on weight. I'm fine.
Did we really lose? He says. No, he's trying to spin it because he told us. He made me believe that we were going to win every single game this season and that Liverpool were going to lose every single game this season. And now he's going to hold on to the fact that Liverpool lost. And he's going to say he's half right, aren't you?
So take it, Tom.
Let me take a moment. Yes. We're still mathematically in it. I'm really happy I made Wolfie believe. And he woke up this morning feeling really disappointed in the fact that I wasn't 100% right. I'm also disappointed that Ez's predictions are obviously better than mine. So, okay, we're going to win the rest of the season. We can believe in that. We've got some good games coming up that we've got a great chance of winning. We're still going to Europe. We're still going to go through to the final of the FA Cup. There's a lot to be happy
about. Battered by Villa. We're going to get battered by Villa in the FA Cup.
Yeah, does anyone want to get Villa in the final or Palace? The thing is, we got to play both, haven't we? Because we still got Palace to come.
Yeah, we've still got Palace to play. And like I said, our two most difficult games. But you look at the rest of them, you got to be confident we'll get enough points. And like you said earlier, it doesn't matter if it's third or fifth, but it will be third. It will be at least third. It won't be fifth.
I need second, bro.
Third. I'll take third, bro. 30-year reunion for third place. I'll take it, mate.
I can't imagine the Forest players and Nuno sat around all having a discussion like we are going, yeah, let's settle for third.
No, but well, this is the point I was going to make. Is it going to the players' heads? Because we have these occasional performances, like Rob alluded to, and then we kind of snap out of it. It's like we needed to get hammered by Bournemouth to snap out of them and go and beat Brighton the way we did, and going on that little bit of a resurgence. And I think occasionally that should give us a wake up call, if anything. Now we've got Everton this week, and then it's like 8 days between the following game. So we've got plenty of time for players to be coming back for a start, and for Nuno to really drum it into them that, look, the job ain't done yet. He's already said that these are 8 cup finals, didn't he? And the second half we played like a cup final yesterday, but first half was shocking.
I really don't think it's that complicated. I think if half of those chances yesterday in that second half had fallen to a player like Chris Wood or a backup striker, and Jota kind of proved my point, they would have scored. We would have won the game. If those balls had fallen someone who has a finesse shot, who can score a goal, whose conversion is something like 43%, we would have won the game. But instead, it falls to people who put it 10 yards wide.
I would argue the one that Jota took was actually probably the most difficult chance we had out of.
100%. Yeah.
He's turned on. He's got his back to goal. He's taken. Who did he take it off? Took it off
Anderson. He literally took it off Anderson.
I'm glad he did. I'm bloody glad he did.
Yeah, Anderson shooting.
He can't get barn door. So these players do need to massively step it up, and mainly in the goal scoring front. But our two players that I would have counted on just before half time. Both Alanga and Hudson-Odoi, again, didn't hit the target. You've got to hit the target. You got to make
I
the
think
goal.
Crypto needs to hold a midnight shooting session down at wherever he goes to play.
Yeah, they'll all line up and I'll shoot them all. That'll be good.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that. All right, let's bring Rob into it. Just before we do, guys, quick reminder, we're already well over 350, I think, in the chat. 71 likes, should be over 100. Make sure you've hit that like button. I put a question in the poll. Is Morato good enough for the Prem? Because we're going to come on to Morato in a little bit. But I want to give Rob a chance for his opening gambit. Arsenal Avenger, bro, don't get gassed, man. You drew with Everton, right? And we're all praying for Madrid. We're all praying for Madrid because obviously you're going to smash them, aren't you? Yeah. All right, Rob, what are you saying?
So the guys have covered most of it. I think we should remember that we got out of jail today because the other two drew, and what a relief that was. So we've lost ground on Villa, which is annoying because they're now back in the picture, and I was really hoping we were going to shake them off. But, you know, it's the one that we all had down as the most likely one for a defeat. That doesn't mean that I mean, I can't stand losing. But, I mean, after about 13 minutes, when those two goals went in very rapidly back to back, and it seemed way too easy, I thought we were in for a sort of another Bournemouth or Newcastle-style collapse, and thank God we weren't. Now, in terms of Morato in his best position, so I think Ez mentioned it, he was away at Fulham. He was out jumped on that back post by Smith Rowe. He lost his man then as well. He shouldn't be on the right of the three. He should be potentially on the left of the three with Murillo in the middle and Milenkovic on the right of the three. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of playing people in position. And I think what we should acknowledge about yesterday is that Nuno would much rather have his best players playing, even if they are out of position, tired and off form and carrying knocks, than rely on some of the squad, right? And so we've highlighted the difference between the depth of Villa's squad and our squad. But my point is that if Toffolo and Sangare can't get minutes in a game like that, they are 100% leaving at the end of the season. That is clear as day to me, because that was Toffolo's opportunity, right? The number one. So you know, you put Williams on the right, Moreno can't play. This is about the only circumstances in which I can envisage Toffolo getting a game, and he's not even allowed on the pitch for even in a game that we're already losing. So it would show that the manager's got zero confidence in him. And then on the flip side of that equation, I think that Elliot Anderson is being asked to do way too much at the moment. He seems to be playing every minute of every game. And my God, he looked tired yesterday. And that was, I don't like to use the word worst. That was the least good performance I've seen from him. That lad really cannot shoot. Can you imagine what an amazing team we would be if Elliot Anderson could shoot? Because, you know, he was given lots of opportunities. I mean, if that goal, by the way, if that goal was a foot wider on both sides, we won that game 10-2, right? But, you know, that's the same sort of logic that Man United were applying after losing the other night. You have to actually score. So that brings me to my last point, which is, do we now have to consider that Jota Silva is a useful player, right? Because last 6 weeks, he's scored 3 decent league goals. Now, obviously, he scored against Brighton, so did everybody else. So we kind of ruled that out. Then he scored against Ipswich, so did everybody else. But like yesterday, he was the only one that could hit the target, right? Now, I mean, yes, he's frustrating. He embodies a lot of the things I don't like in a footballer, right? All of the play acting, all of the stupid, like he seemed to be like constantly on the edge of getting booked. And then after he's booked, he's constantly on the edge of being sent off. And I don't like that kind of excitement. But he can put away a chance. And we've got far too few people that can do that right now. So my question is, if we have another game where Wood is unavailable, does he start ahead of Taiwo? Because he can score goals. And I can't imagine Taiwo scoring that goal. Sorry? Oh, no. He scored 3 league goals this season, and all of them were from the bench, right? And I've just said
3, man. We're talking about 3 goals.
Yeah, all right, but they're from the bench.
More than Taiwo. How many league goals Taiwo scored this.
The number of minutes he's had is comparable to Taiwo, and we have to accept that he delivered the goods when nobody else could hit a barn door yesterday. So we know what reservations we have about him, but my question is, if Wood is out, does he now start in place of Taiwo?
No.
For the next week, no. I mean, I think the question was obviously initially about Morato, but I'd throw Jota Silva and a few more into that. I think I was one of the first to call out our backup players earlier on this season, saying they wouldn't get in most teams in the top half. They wouldn't get into their squads, let alone their first teams. And but I think that's still the case. You get the odd performance, you get the odd goal, but in reality, is Morato good enough? I don't think he is. I think when he's been given more responsibility, he struggled. The only time in the back three that it's worked was in that Brighton game, when we didn't really, after that first 10, 15 minutes of their attack, they didn't really provide much for us to defend against anyway. So I've been actually disappointed with him when he's been given more responsibility. Agreed with the guys. I think everyone said it. He shouldn't have been on the right of a back three.
He did in the Brighton game, as
he did. That's what he did in the Brighton game, and it worked because, like, say, after the first 15, 20 minutes, they didn't do anything after that. You know, it was all us. So that's the only time where it's kind of worked, but he wasn't really put under pressure. When he has been put under pressure, he's disappointed me a couple of times. So is he? We don't necessarily need to give up on these players, but right now they're not good enough. I say just compare them to Villa's squad yesterday and the changes they could make.
They got a good deep squad, man. They do.
100%. 100%. And they added to it in January as well. So we're a long way off. We're a long way off.
I was talking to the Villa guys today.
Finisher of the game.
Sorry?
Like, I've sat and watched you guys. We're all happy when he comes on for the last 15 minutes to shut up shop. That's what he's good at doing. Jota's good at coming off the bench, creating that little bit of mayhem, possibly getting a goal. They're not starters, and they don't have to be. We need a few players that come in and do that job for us. It's just unfortunate that we've got the players. We don't have the squad.
But Tom, occasionally they do have to start games. You know, we are going to have injuries throughout the season. So these backup players who, yes, they're mostly going to be playing roles off the bench. There will be times when they're going to be starters, and they've got to be ready. And yeah, it's his first season in the Premier League, so we can't be too hard on Morato, but he needs to speed. He needs to get with the pace of the game.
Can we remember as well? He's 23, right? I know he looks about 35 with all his like tattoos and everything, but he's 23, and he has done a good job for us. Like, for example, Brentford away, we played the three central defence, and this was when they were on fire and they couldn't get anywhere near our goal. So he's had his good moments as well, right? So. Let's not write him off just yet.
I think you're missing Tom's point. I don't know if this is what you meant by it, Tom, but I think what you were saying is these players are not starters.
No, they're
Even
not.
though Ed's was saying that they're going to need to.
They're good to come on for that last 15, 20 minutes, shut up shop and create a bit of mayhem up front. They're not starters. And it's unfortunate that we don't have the financial situation where we can just go out and buy the extra central defender that we need, the extra cover at right and left back, the striker that we wanted. That's the position we're in, but we're working with what we've got.
Just a point about Villa's squad
depth. A hard time for being played out of position. You can and not do their best. You bring him into the squad for the last 15, 20 minutes in the position they're supposed to play. Okay, it's a good job. But we didn't. We brought him in, put him in the wrong place. And, it's that Latin American thing where it's like, it is a little slower, the game. And he's changing his shin pads or tying his shoe. And he's like, oh, my God. That's because he hasn't played a lot of English football.
Can I just come back on the point about Villa's squad depth, right? Because I was obviously talking to the Villa guys the other day. So we obviously had very different January windows, and I'm not in the squad, the people that defend our lack of activity in January. We should remember that after Villa qualified for the Champions League, they actually lost some good players, right? So Luiz went, and that I can't remember the guy's name, the winger that went to Saudi as well. Yeah, Diaby went to Saudi as well. So they actually started off this season weaker than after they qualified for the Champions League. And then, of course, in the January window, Duran has gone to Saudi as well. And the people that they've brought in are on loan. So Rashford and Asensio are both on loan, right? So, we've got to remember that. So it's not like we're going up against Man City levels of spending. I'm saying they've actually had some setbacks in terms of squad depth, but they do seem to have a manager who's prepared to utilize the whole squad. Whereas our manager really does seem to like a very small, tight squad. And then he likes to, I'm not going to say play favourites, but he trusts, it seems to me that he trusts a very small number of players within that squad. And maybe that's part of the issue. Because again, if Sangare and Toffolo can't get any minutes yesterday, what are they for? And remember, Sangare was £35 million, right? So, or whatever we think it was. So I would still question that. I think in the end, you have to actually use these people. I mean, you know, they're still a lot better than who we had to bring on last year. I know I always gone about Divock Origi and Ribeiro and Reina, but, you know, you'd like to think that they're better options than them. And it seemed a bit curious as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think I agree with you in terms of Sangare. I think his days are numbered, because I made the point before, I think it was before the Brighton game. I said if he'd just come back from injury, if Nuno's not going to start him in that game, I don't think he sees any future for him. And then he's not started. He brought him on as a sub, I believe. But I don't. He's not part of this.
I think he starts against Everton, bro. I think the pace of the Villa team in that midfield is too quick. I think the Everton midfielders, where you got Decore, who else they got? I forgot the rest of their midfield now. But those players are not as quick, and I think that would suit. If he doesn't play against Everton, he's done. Because Yates has played too many minutes in this last week alone. Dominguez has, Anderson has. He's got to rotate that midfield.
They're not ready to drop.
He's even played
They
Donyell.
honestly look ready to drop. I think it's a mistake. It's like, I know we talk about football games on this, but if they're on Football Manager, they'll be coming to the game on like 60% fitness, and then you've got somebody on 100%. It's like, for God's sake, how bad can Sangare be? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I was going to make that point as well. If Nuno's watching that first half against Villa yesterday, and the pace and the way they ran at us, Sangare is not the type of player you bring on after seeing that for 45 minutes. He can't. He can't deal with the pace of English football.
I even felt like our shooting was tired. If that makes sense, can you know what I mean by a tired? Like, you know, but for a start, you know, you don't get your body over the ball. You sort of lift it over the bar because you're sort of a bit late in getting to it. You know, it just felt sloppy and tired. You know,
I mean, Rob, I take on your point of, obviously they've had some players in, some players out, but they're still the strength of their squad. They pretty much changed their whole back four yesterday. You know, they didn't have Concert starting, they didn't have Pau Torres starting. They used their backups and they look comfortable. Disasi he looked better for them than I've seen him play for Chelsea.
Even the other kid that came on, what's his name?
What came on yesterday?
The midfielder that came on, Ramsey. I'd take him.
Yes, yeah. Jacob Ramsey,
very good.
Yeah. They've got these players in the background. You know, he's coming back from injury. You know, they've got Boubacar Kamara, who didn't start yesterday. You know,
what a player he is, man.
He's a quality player. So yes, they've had players in and out, but they've built that squad steadily over the last couple of seasons, and that's the difference in the two teams. Primarily for me yesterday, and the quality that they've got. Obviously, these players can score goals as well. Even Rashford coming on, you know, yesterday he had an opportunity. It was a great save from Sells to actually keep him out with that chip at the end. But Sells had a great game, to be honest. I don't blame him for either one of their goals, and I think he kept it down. They did have.
I kind of think he needs to be blamed for the first one. I'm sorry, it went through his legs.
Yeah, and it wasn't Morato's
fault. But Sells in the, let me rephrase this. It's Morato's fault, but Sells in the form he's in, I would expect him to save that. That's probably the better way of putting it.
I wouldn't blame him for that.
He saved the one that was then going to go through his legs again. He got down low and saved it. But
his left nut saved that one.
But off the back of what Ezra said, we had the chance to deepen the squad in January, and we didn't. And I'm not saying we had to go out and buy loads of players, but we could have overspent a bit for someone like a Visser, and it would have made all the difference right now. And he would have gone ahead of a Wani as well, even if Chris Wood was fit. He would have been second to Wood. So we could have gone out there, shown our ambition, got some backup in case of this situation. But We didn't. And the only people who can be blamed for that is the recruitment.
Yeah.
Yes, they can't predict what's going to happen. They couldn't predict Wood and Awoni's going to get injured. But if you bring in someone who's better than Awoni, then what's the problem? Even if injured.
Ben, if you're gonna say that, if you remember, I can't remember where it was. It was in some article, maybe the Athletic. It was Nuno who said he didn't want more. Marinakis made the money available.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not the recruitment team then. I blame Nuno. I don't like small squad mentality.
Crypto, the overall point, no, yesterday was a setback, but like we said, a lot of results went our way. Look at Villa's games. Look at who they've still got to play, mate. They haven't got an easy run, and they're not catching us by any stretch of the imagination.
I know. No, I think we'll still get Champions League.
Exactly. So have we got enough to get Champions League? Yes, we have, and I think that's what Nuno's argument was.
I hope so, but I still don't think it would have been a bad idea to bring in a proper backup to Chris Wood, because we've known.
But let's say we're going to get Champions League, and we've saved that money. We've added it to our pot for the summer. You know, I think that's part of the decision as well. But yeah, you go back to it was Nuno's decision ultimately to say he didn't need any more. But I think even Marinakis is happy to have saved that money, because I think we've definitely got enough to get into that Champions League position. So yes, in hindsight, we could have done with more players, but is it going to be the difference between us to get into the Champions League next season or not?
Well, I hope not. But if we miss it by 1 or 2 points, you know,
then we can review that. You know, we can review that chat then. But I don't think it will personally.
I think we'll still get Champions League, but I just think we should have got effectively a replacement for Awoni. I don't think it would have harmed us.
Yeah, that's going to happen in the summer. That's
all I was saying. We didn't have to buy someone better than Wood. We just had to buy someone better than Awoni, which is a lot easier.
Yeah, someone who can challenge him, but who's better than Awoni.
Yeah.
Do you think the thinking behind that was, okay, Taiwo, give him a few games if Wood gets injured. He's in the shop window, so we can get enough money as possible for him in the summer to then go and spend on a better striker than Chris Wood.
Tom, I think that logic works if you're in mid-table and it doesn't matter what you're going to do or not. I mean, I've been thinking about the Champions League because, you know, we've all been slated at various times for saying that it's maybe more important to us than the FA Cup, and people hate that. They really hate that. But I've been trying to think, why is this? I've been trying to put it into words, and it came to me this afternoon while I was washing the dishes, right? So look, we spent 20 years in the lower divisions, right? And when we got promoted to the Premier League, right? If we made it to the Champions League, that's like getting promoted again, right? It's as big as that. It will be that satisfying. It will be that important for the club, right? So, you know, if we were in the Championship now and someone said to you, would you like promotion to the Premier League or would you like to win the FA Cup? You'd say promotion, right? And this is the same thing again. If we get in the Champions League, that is like being promoted from the Premier League. So that is why it matters. And that's why I'm looking at the table every 15 minutes. Yeah. And, you know, you can have a massive sigh of relief when people like Chelsea and Man City drop points this afternoon. So what I'm saying is, Tom, I totally understand the commercial logic around, well, actually, let's give Taiwo, you know, we'll get more money for him if he plays some games and stuff. But like, can you afford that? Can you afford that given what is
think how much money you get from Champions League football?
Yeah, exactly.
It's another 70 to 100 mil.
Nearly the same as getting promoted, isn't it?
Exactly. It was worth lobbing 25 million at it to make it 10% more likely that you get 170 million the next season. So, you know,
and also on top of that, Rob, each place in like the top 5 is plus 5 mil on the prize money as well. So if we finish third, I think it's 170. If we finish second, it's like 180. So
and if
we go further down, it goes down a bit.
I know this is all in hindsight, but if we were to buy someone like Visser in the Jan window, it's not like we're buying him for one season. He'll be good for 3 or 4 seasons. Like, he scored a ton of goals for Brentford. Yeah. They wanted more than we wanted to offer, but you know, the difference between 18 and 22 mil, what is it to a football club if it's going to guarantee them, you know, top
I think to Tom's point, I think what you're saying, Tom, is why get a substandard striker in January, where we're probably going to get Champions League, and then get a top-notch A-class, a Gyökeres or whatever. I'm just saying that name to piss the
You're
Arsenal
also
fans.
paying over the odds in January for someone that, if you wait until the summer, like Wissa, will probably pick him up for 15.
Yeah, we will. Yeah,
Do you
probably
think if we get Champions League, Tom, that people know we got money and will be like, that's another 10% on the prices? Could it work both ways?
Depends who we're going after and who the competition into the player
Yeah.
is. We're going to have that problem regardless, aren't we? If we're trying to attract those top-rate players, you're going to have 3 or 4 other clubs interested anyway.
Yeah. And imagine it. Let's say it is Wissa. How are we going to
Because
stop
you want
him
it to be Wissa. That's why you always use him as the example.
Listen, I'm going to say this, and I hope this is true. I think we need 2 strikers. We don't just need 1 striker. We need 2 strikers. And this has got to be one of them, and a 50, 60 million pound striker on top of that.
Yeah,
That's what I think we need. That's what I think we need. But he's definitely good enough to be a squad player. He's definitely good enough to be part of even your first team squad, first team lineup. He'll start certain games, but he's got to be the backup to a main striker. We can't rely on Chris Wood next season either. He's had his injury worries towards the end of the season. He's getting older. I mean, if he's not willing to give up his international career, because most strikers will, you choose whether you want to prolong your professional your Premier League career or you want to keep playing international football. He's going to have to make that decision, and it's kind of may have to be forced on him. And if he's not willing to do that, I'm not willing to have him as our first choice striker.
Well said.
I'm going to be ruthless, bro. I'm going to be ruthless next season.
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking it, right? It was all right, Chris Wood jumping on a plane when he's playing for sort of Burnley in 16th place, and it doesn't actually matter, and he was getting like 12 goals a season. But like, it is extremely annoying him picking up this injury in a dead rubber game in freaking New Caledonia when Forest are on the brink of the Champions League. And I guess he's probably quite embarrassed about it and probably quite annoyed with himself, because that was the wrong call, and he shouldn't be doing that right now.
Play for their country. You can't
no, sorry, he shouldn't be doing that right now. He's on very good money here, and we totally rely on him. And I'm actually annoyed that happened.
Can you imagine?
The best players do it to prolong their Premier League careers. The best players do it.
If Nuno said to Morgan Gibbs-White, "You're not playing for England in case you get
injured,"
Morgan Gibbs-White would walk. He'd go to a different club.
It's not the same situation.
It is the same.
All right, around the world, and he's not 33 years old.
To represent their country, it doesn't matter who they're playing. It means a lot.
So are you going to say all right, but you're going to say let's just say, I'm trying to think, Bolly, right? He becomes our number 1 defender. I'm just trying to think of an African player. Are you going to say to him, if Forest are in the Champions League race next year or a title race, you know what, mate? You ain't going to AFCON. If you go to AFCON. Yeah.
If he's the difference between us doing well, then yeah, I will. I'm going to be ruthless next season, bro.
Unanimous disagreement with me in the chat. I have to correct that. Apparently, it was a matter of qualification for the World Cup, and New Zealand have qualified for the first time. Congratulations to them.
Congratulations.
But I still think. No, I'm not backtracking. I still think who pays your wages? Priorities. Sorry to say. He's managed to get through all those Forest games. He's managed to get through playing 90 minutes week in, week out for Forest without injuries. And then he's got to pick up an injury on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
There you go. Look.
Forest for that.
Rob, if you listen to an interview of Morgan Gibbs-White saying, what is your ultimate aim in life? It's not playing for Nottingham Forest. It's playing for England.
No, I understand that, but Crypto, he's not 33 years old and he's not traveling halfway around the world.
33 years old. I came on a plane today at 5 o'clock in the morning. It don't mean shit. Yeah, I didn't go to New Zealand.
You picked the ball up traveling last night. You said you scored 5 out of 5. I don't believe you did.
Exactly.
It's not the same thing.
And I played basketball after.
Chill.
Let Tom say something.
Go on, Tom. What are you saying about the traveling?
Every football player has the right to represent the country until the point where they feel it's not necessary or they feel as though it's affecting their game. It's not ideal, having lived in New Zealand and flying to England, and it's 21 hours, even in business class, you feel totally and utterly disorientated one way and on the way back. You are more susceptible to picking up injuries because of the time in the air. But how can you stop someone going to represent the country to qualify for the first time? If you actually go to New Zealand and see how passionate they are about their sports, you tell Chris Wood not to go there. He's going to be like, if Chris Wood's playing at 38, he's still going to be representing New Zealand.
Can you imagine how hated he would be to turn down his country?
Right, I can't believe all these people in the chat are perfectly happy for Chris Wood to go and get injured and maybe miss the rest of the season.
That's not what they're saying. He could have got injured taking a shit yesterday.
Remember Ben
in England.
White? Remember Ben White? Ben White got absolutely slandered online because he said he wouldn't play for England because of Gareth Southgate. Imagine Chris Wood saying,
people retire from international football all the time.
The best New Zealand player of all time turning around and saying, I'm not playing for you because I'm playing for Nottingham Forest. When he goes back to New Zealand and retires, he's going to be the most hated man in the country.
Well, let me ask Rob this. Right? You love Stuart Pearce, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. When we got relegated, what's the first thing Stuart Pearce did?
He called the England manager, but by the way, he stayed.
Why?
Because he was worried about his England.
Why did he stay? Why did he stay?
Well, there's the official answer, then the not official answer. The official answer is that he was loyal to Forest, and because the England manager reassured him that his place wasn't under threat. The unofficial answer is that people were worried that he was injured and might not have wanted to buy him, so he didn't follow Roy Keane and Nigel Clough out the door. Well, you ask a question, there's the answer.
I'm telling you because we literally asked Stuart Pearce that question, right? And he said
solely based on gone.
Yes. No, Ed, you're my witness, aren't you? He said he spoke to, it was Venables at the time, wasn't it? I think off the top of my head. He said when he spoke to Venables, that Venables said he will still consider him in the Championship if his form is good enough and it won't impact him for selection. And if it was going to, he would have left Forest. Yeah. So are you going to hold the same energy for Stuart Pearce that you're
are for Chris Wood? Talking about counterfactuals here.
No, I'm not.
No, we're not.
Players retire from international football all the time. The point is,
Stuart Pearce could have retired from England and focused on Forest.
Chris Wood is not a Nottingham Forest fan.
How much is Chris Wood paying him per game?
The only Nottingham Forest fan in our team is Ryan Yates. And I guarantee you, if they said to Ryan Yates, come and play for England, he would go.
Right. How much are New Zealand paying Chris Wood per game?
How much are England paying MGW?
International salaries get donated to charity, normally. The England ones do.
Our striker that's on 90 grand a week and is on 18 goals for the season, playing the best football of his career, and we're on the brink of the Champions League, and everybody's just, bad luck, he got injured playing for New Zealand. Not one other person thinks, well, that's unfortunate and could have been avoided.
No, I do. Rob, in a way, I agree with you. I think international football in the season is dead. I don't care about these qualifiers. Just do it by seeding. If you're ranked 1 to 16,
qualified anyway. Right?
Yeah, I'm saying you got your 1 to 16, you're automatically through, whatever. I get you, yeah. But you can't stop a player from playing for his country because, they want to. Do you know what I'm saying? It's people cried when he got called up.
But I'm not suggesting that we stop him playing for his country.
Yeah, you are.
Suggesting that this was Chris Wood's decision to make, and he's made the wrong decision because he's gone and got fucking injured. That's all.
Right, okay. Let me go back on it. And I'll stick by what I said. I said I'm going to be ruthless next season. If it came to it next season and it was a massive Champions League game coming back from an international break or whatever, and that was our first game back, and he's not going to make himself available, then he's not in my starting lineup.
Yes, exactly. So as Ed says, we're having to plan the squad around Chris Wood getting injured for New Zealand, right? So he's given us that problem. And that's his decision to make.
It's not his fault.
It's swings and roundabouts.
He didn't get injured playing for Forest. He didn't get injured playing for Forest. That's
yeah, but Chris Wood's going through a bit of a dry patch when it comes to goals. You go away to play for New Zealand and stick 6 in the back of the net, and you come back with better form than when you left.
Yeah,
so
but not
he got injured, but the upside's totally there too.
Yeah.
Experience on an international level. People don't hate him for turning down his country like they hate Rob. That's why you didn't get voted in because you don't care about your country. How about that? All you care about is Nottingham Forest.
That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad
Not
thing.
bad thing.
I'll say 30% of the chat are with Ez and Rob. I'm kind of tagging Ez into the Rob camp
Oh, yeah,
here.
okay. Go on,
So the poll was, should Wood have gone to play? Hey, that rhymes. Should Wood have gone to play for New Zealand? 70% said yes, 30% said no. So you got over a quarter that you've convinced. Right, just a quick catch up on some of the super charts and memberships. Stop pressing buttons, Ben.
I can't help it. There's all this Rob.
Oh.
There's all this anti-Rob sentiment. It's
Honestly,
it's like Christmas and birthday for you, isn't it? It's Christmas and birthday.
I need to get some burner accounts going. This is fun.
Neil, thank you so much for the 17 months, bud. Much love to you. Chris with the £2. He goes, they had to win the game for WC qualification. So up yours, Rob. He didn't.
I've accepted that clarification. Fine. I've accepted.
Okay.
Yeah, Fraser,
my man Fraser with the 15 months. Thank you so much, buddy. Much love to you. Thank you for all your support. And the lovely Curtis Jones with the $5. He goes, in the summer window, we need a starting 6 and 4 to 5 quality depth players. Some players need to be sold and sent out on loan. I posted the full one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
on
Twitter.
Twitter.
Okay. I was worried where he'd posted that. In the full one. Thank you so much, Curtis. I'll have a look at that a little later. And Warren with the £2. He goes, well done, Jono, scoring 2 goals today, hat trick nearly. Their so-called worst player is their top goal scorer. And I think he's nearly got 20 goals this season. Shout out to you, what's up? With the
Still not good
Spider-Man.
enough for us, right? Still not good enough for us.
And he wouldn't get in our team.
Okay,
Okay, how are we doing on the likes? How are we doing on likes? Mods, I need you to be pushing those up. We're 128 likes. We've got 400 in here. Guys, come on. Right, we need to be on 150. We got Tom all the way from America, out on the West Coast, right? He got up nice and early. What time is it for you, Tom, now? Why are you 7, 8 behind us?
7 behind.
7. 2 in the afternoon. All right, he didn't get up early, right? It's like 2 in the afternoon there. Okay, and did you notice how he slipped in the? Yes, I flew to New Zealand in business class, and yes, it was still quite tiring. And all. Did you guys notice that he slipped that in the old business class?
It was that bad. I got to the restaurant in England to go meet friends and family, and I fell asleep. And you see those movies where your head hits the food. That's kind of me, and I'm traveling, and I don't have a game to play. I don't have any training to go to. It's just exhausting.
Oh, God forbid you traveled in economy, man. What would you have done then?
You would have hit the seat in front of you.
I'm
and
6'4". That's terrible. 21 hours in coach. No thanks.
even worse now for Rob. If he ever goes to New Zealand, he'd probably get arrested on arrival.
Yeah, Rob, man, you ain't getting a visa, man, to New Zealand now. Chris Wood is like royalty.
Doing the hacker at the airport as he arrives.
Australia.
Make sure you're following Tom. He's over on Instagram. I've got his link for you guys in the chat as well. Make sure you show him some love. You know, he's only got 520,000 followers. So
another super chat.
I don't read Andy's super chats. You know what this bastard did to me yesterday, right? While I'm there defending the honor of Forest on Never a Foul, he decides to chuck me into jail. Our question is loyalty now. Our question is loyalty. Yeah, Andy, it's noted and not forgotten, nor will it be forgiven. Thank you for the $1.99.
Wolfie, didn't some guy pay like $200 to put you in jail yesterday?
Someone paid £100 to put me in jail, and someone else paid £100 to get me back out.
It was the same guy. It was the same guy put you in.
It got a little crazy yesterday, I have to say. I'm joking, Andy. Much love to you. Thank you for the $1.99. Okay. Yeah, no, Owen, that's not forgotten either, bro. That's not forgotten. Can someone read out Andy's super chat? I don't even want to be on screen for it though. So
yeah, it says, Rob, would you like this if it was Gibbs White?
Well, Gibbs White did get injured playing for England.
Would you be like this?
No, look, Gibbs White did get injured playing for England, so it's funny that you mentioned that.
Where was the hate then? Where was the hate for Gibbs White then?
Well, okay, you're trying to draw an equivalence with a 33-year-old striker. Listen, if Gibbs White's not available, for a couple of games after picking up a knock against England, we can cover that. And by the way, actually, wasn't it a Fulham game straight after that? He didn't play and we lost, right? So there is an equivalence there. But
Did
what
you
I'm
kick
saying
off,
is,
though? Did you kick off?
You just can't. You just,
okay, there's a big difference, right? In where the two players are in their careers, right? We are totally dependent on Chris Wood. Now, we're going back over the argument now, but somebody's reignited it.
You're right. You got 30 seconds to unequate.
Right. No. I mean, look, yes, it's not Chris Wood's fault that we didn't sign a backup striker, but knowing that is the position, he's taken a risk and it's backfired. And that's on him. It's not on the club. I'm not ever saying that the club should say you are not allowed to play for your country. But since somebody is bringing that up, I haven't finished. Gibbs White did play for England. He did get injured and we did miss him the next game against Fulham and we did lose. So thank you for bringing that up.
All right, end of conversation. I'm bored of it. Let's move on. Okay, let's move on to more important things. And that, what? Rob isn't racist. He's mastered the way of pronouncing Omar Marmoush. Actually,
Can't be racist. Oh,
yeah, I think Tom could say it as well. Can you pronounce it the Arab way, Tom?
Mamouche.
Not good enough.
No, with the
Roll
Omar.
the R in the middle. Roll the R.
Roll the R. man.
Rob Schoenhow.
Andy's put another super chat in. I'm refused to read it out, so Ben, if you could read it out, I'd appreciate it.
defending Forest, yes, speaking nonsense. Well, that's what Rob does continuously on this channel, Andy. So.
He's talking about me. No. He thinks now, because he's been on stream with Daps, that he's a big time YouTuber, right? He was there chilling with Daps with his crappy internet, which was worse than Ez's, by the way. May I add? He's been pretty solid lately, man. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Get those likes up, guys. What are we on? Have we gone over 150? We're over 150. Get to 200. Stop being an Andy and get the like button hit, right?
Just on that point, Wolfie, because I go on a couple of channels that you've been on, obviously, and they try to come with me with the same energy they come at you with, and they just don't get the same response from me. I'm just like, fucking, yeah, it is what it is, mate. I ain't gonna be bigging anything up until we get there. But yeah, you've made a few. Look, I won't say enemies, but you put yourself out there. You put yourself out there.
I need that Champions League spot.
Rob's got his family defending him in the chat now.
Big up to.
Where's your family defending you?
Because no one else is.
Your family are embarrassed about you. That's why.
All right, we're moving on. Okay, so for those of you, by the way, there was a question earlier in the chat. Where was Alex Moreno yesterday? He was club tied, so he couldn't play against his parent club. Okay, so couple of things. Wood is going to be back for Everton, so all this debate is a mute response, really. Yeah. So as long as they fully clear, huh?
He's back from New Zealand too.
Yeah, he's gone while he's been injured. He's gone back to New Zealand to catch some winter sun. Oh, look at Rob's face. I'm joking.
I was triggered.
He was making some weird noises. Ola Aina is what we heard 6 weeks, but they're going to try and get it down to 3 weeks. Some injections. Who else is injured? I can't remember.
What's the deal with Ilanga? Because
Ilanga, I don't know what's happening. I've got no intel on that. There was a word going around from Nuno said that there was something. I don't know what that means.
He did get pulled off at half time, to be fair.
Yeah, I didn't think he was playing bad enough to be hooked at half time, and Taiwo, I don't know what the injury is. And to be honest, I don't really care anymore. With
Someone said it was his thigh.
It's probably his shin. Wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, what I want to talk about now is, by the way, Laurie, we did say happy birthday to you last week on Ant's request. You're looking good for 54, so hold that.
That's what he said then as well.
That's what she said, mate. Anyway. Let's move on. Right. I want to talk about this title, not title, fuck's sake, me of a month ago, of this top 5 race, right? Mm-hmm. So as things stand, shall I bring the table up? Will this make life easier?
I say bring up everybody else's fixtures. Bring up Villa's fixtures, and you see how
I
atrocious.
can do one thing
they
at a time, mate. All right. Would you like some coffee with that as well?
No, I got one.
Anyway, what was I saying?
You're gonna bring up the table.
The table, right?
Yeah.
The table. I want to know after this weekend's fixtures because Chelsea drew at the BTEC Stadium in their West London derby with Brentford. Man U is another derby actually. Drew with Man U. Sorry, Man City drew with Man U.
Yeah.
And the only team that really gained on us technically is Villa. I expect Newcastle to because they got a free win against Leicester.
We got Leicester, but their game in hand is against Palace. Yeah.
Are we going to rule out Fulham and Brighton now? Is it time?
I ruled out Bournemouth.
Bro. I'm ruling them all out.
Wait, what do you mean you're ruling them all out?
I'm not bothered about. No, I don't think anybody's overtaken us. Put it that way. Nobody's overtaken us. Put it that way.
All right, so let's break this down, chat, and we're gonna need your help. Well, I'm gonna need your help because these guys are clowns, right? So this is the table as it stands. Can you all read that? Should I make it a little bigger?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Ant's not here, so it's fine.
Yeah, Ant's not here. Speaking of Ant, Wazza says, thank you for the £2. Good luck, Ant. Top man, all the best. What's Ant said or done? Ant's been fired, so he's not coming back. He's not coming. That's moving. Oli, just because you're older than Ant, right? If you can't see it, mate, then I don't know how I can help you, right? Thank you, Warren, for that. Larry says, if I'm looking good, I will take that. Thanks for the birthday shout out, guys. Undefeated for the games I've been to. Yeah, that's because you're a fake fan. You went to one game.
She's selective, isn't
it? Anyway, all right, let's get back to this table. Right. We'll get a poll up as well. Do you think we're going to do it? So, who wants to
I'm looking at the team of the week, bro. I'm more interested in that. Murillo, how did Murillo get in the team of the week?
Man, I swear to God, the chat was doing my head in yesterday about Murillo just because he hit the crossbar.
He nearly scored the goal.
Just because he hit the crossbar, half of them had him as man of the match. Honestly.
Oh, if that had gone in, man.
It didn't go in, though. It didn't go in.
Shooting wide.
Just the way you hit that ball, bro. It just stayed hit.
I would encourage him to do that more. I would encourage him to do that a lot more.
Shut up, Rob, man.
It never actually goes in.
I would think it's more likely he would score than Anderson.
He is getting closer from distance.
Oh, you're going to play that angle, Tom? Oh, my God.
I tell you what, God help us if Murillo goes and plays for Brazil and gets injured. Rob will be all over him.
Yeah, wasn't Rob like all smitten over him getting called up for Brazil?
You watched Brazil. You watched the midnight Brazil match.
Is he a 33-year-old striker? No.
Who cares?
Move on.
33.
No,
If you're going to keep bringing this up,
We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Let's talk about this goddamn table,
That's
right?
the point. It's his age. He's going to get injured.
So
He's more
age
susceptible to injury.
Oh, there's 400 people watching this car crash. I have no idea, right? Get those likes up.
According to the table,
Guys,
according
come on,
to
man.
the table,
Bring some sensibility.
sensible.
according to the table, mathematically, we can still win the league, correct?
Oh, not. You have your chance there, and you've wasted it on that.
Oh, you did the. And
There's 21 points to play for. I'm with him. I'm with you on this one.
Yeah,
So what's the
quickly,
max
my
we
dad
can
says
get
move
to?
on. Listen to
Mate,
him.
I put us on 75 points, didn't I? By the end of the
that's
season.
done.
But, yeah.
Wait, so
We'll
what's
get
the
to
max
70
we can get? What's the max we can get? 78.
78.
78.
Yeah.
So wait, Tom, seriously, Liverpool need what, 5 points, 6 points?
Hey, it's not over till the fat lady sings. My ex ain't singing.
Kick Rob off tonight. He's being as fat. Well, that must mean Jason tends to normally like you then, Rob, I guess. So.
You must do something.
Anyway, okay. So for those of you listening maybe later on the podcast, by the way, don't forget we're on Spotify and Apple Play and all them things. So if you're watching there, make sure you give us a 5-star review. So the table as it stands, Arsenal played 31, 62 points. Goal difference 30. Forest 31, 57 points. 5 off Arsenal plus 14. Chelsea 31 played, 53 points. What's that gap there? 4 points to Forest plus 17.
Yeah.
Man City 31 played, 52 points plus 17. And then Aston Villa 31 points, 51. And then I'll just do Newcastle as well because they're on 50 points but played 29. They've got Leicester. So we can all assume they've played 30 or on 53. If they win there, you said it's Crystal Palace.
Palace, yeah. Palace.
If they win that as well,
away.
they go 1 point behind us, if my maths is right, when we
Yeah,
level
if
up
they
on
win
games.
that game in hand, yeah.
So how are we seeing this? Who's making it to the top 5 and who's not? Ben, you can kick us off.
I think I don't know about.
And chat, put your top 5 in. Put it in order. I want it in order because I want receipts. I want receipts.
I think the top 5 in order is going to be Liverpool, Arsenal. I said Forest last week, but Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, Newcastle, Man City. I think Newcastle have got 2 games in hand, and they're a decent team. So I think they'll take over or go ahead of Man City. Chelsea, I think Chelsea might fall off, and Villa, I'm just hoping fall off after yesterday, because they're in my bad books now. But I think we'll be all right. We got 7 games left. I reckon we get 3 wins out of the last 7 games, and we're pretty much safe for Champions League, which is easily doable. We've got Everton at home, Leicester. We'll
Everton
definitely
at home,
get.
Ben's away. Yeah, we've got Leicester to play.
Definitely get at least 3 wins. I don't think there's any reason to worry.
No.
But I think Newcastle might have a good chance of getting in the top 5 because they've got 2 games in hand.
I agree.
All right, let me just go down the list. Go on then, Tom. What are you saying? In order, Tom.
In order, in a realistic.
I want receipts.
Yeah. I think Liverpool, Forest. Yeah. After yesterday, I dashed my dreams. So I think Liverpool, Forest, Arsenal, Man City, and Newcastle.
Liverpool. Wait, say it again. Sorry, Liverpool,
Forest.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Man City, and Newcastle.
Okay, interesting. Forest second. I like that. Ez?
I think we needed to get something out of yesterday to put a second, so I'm not putting a second, unfortunately. But Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, City in 4th, and I think Newcastle will get that last spot. I've looked at Chelsea's running, I looked at Villa's running, and I think they've got to play the most of the teams in that top 6 or 8 teams. So I think they're definitely going to be dropping points along the way. So Newcastle to get that last spot for me, but we'll be comfortable. Top 3, mate.
Wait, so what did you say?
Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest, Man City, and Newcastle.
Newcastle. So you don't think Chelsea and Villa?
No.
What are you thinking? They're running.
Yeah, they're running. Look at Villa's running, mate. Look at Chelsea's running. Even today, I knew they
isn't that bad. No.
Villa's is bad. Villa's is bad. Have a look at Villa's, mate. Look at
Southampton next, man. By the way, wait, stop. Everyone stop. Wait. We can't do this. And I want everyone in the chat to take a moment and send our condolences.
Yeah, pray for PSG.
No, to Sorry Mike.
Who
got relegated today. What do you mean who? He got relegated today.
I'm sure he's watching our podcast to celebrate getting relegated.
He does. Sorry, Mike. We still love you, bro. You will always have a special place in our heart.
Yeah, see you in another 12 months.
We're all rooting for you to get 2 more points in your next 7 games or whatever it is. So please don't let us down. Sorry, Mike. And if you get 2 points, we'll speak to the Premier League and they should just let you stay. They really should. They can relegate Wolves or something. So our condolences, bro. We're going to miss you. I hope you come back next season. I'm going to miss that sexy voice. I really am. And yeah, much love. So anyway, Villa, make sure you subscribed to Matchday Vlogs, by the way. So Villa got Southampton, free win. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Then they got Newcastle.
Man City, Palace.
No, Palace's Cup. Palace's Cup.
Okay, Palace's Cup. Fulham, then Bournemouth. They've got difficult games, mate. They haven't got no easy running.
Bournemouth, Spurs, Man U.
Yeah, last 2 games. Ignore those last 2.
Out of 10, chat, how hard are you rating Villa's running? Well, you guys go just quickly on the Villa from top to bottom. Go on. Out of 10, how hard is it, Crypto?
I'd probably say
Need a fucking number, man.
6.
6. Okay. What are you saying, Tom?
Yeah, like a 6, maybe a 5.
So you think it's
Really? You think we got an easy run?
Yeah, because Tottenham, their form's awful. Bournemouth have dropped off. Man City are Man City
Look
of
at the
old.
next 4 league games, Tom. Look at the ignore Southampton. After Southampton, look at the league games: Newcastle, Man City, and Palace.
Palace the fucking cup, man, Trent.
Okay, Fulham. Sorry,
Well, they got
the Fulham game.
at home.
Not an easy one.
So they got Fulham at home. They could probably win that. Man City away, probably going to be a draw. Newcastle at home, they'll win that. And I think it depends if they beat PSG or not, doesn't it?
No, I don't think we're beating Newcastle. I don't think we're beating City.
No, I think they'll draw with City.
That's not going to be enough, though, is it? It's not going to be enough for them to catch us.
No.
So what are you giving it as out of 10?
I think Chelsea's is the only one that's worse than theirs, but I would give them a 7 or 8 out of 10 in terms of toughness of their games. I don't think any of those are easy games. And all these teams, bear in mind, points will be dropped. That's my point. Points are going to be dropped in that Villa Newcastle game. Points are going to be dropped in that Man City Villa game. So there are teams around us who are going to drop points. So that's the benefit for me. But I still think Chelsea's is slightly worse.
But would you not grant that if you look at those games where they've got, say, Newcastle, Man City, and I guess kind of Fulham, they're all games where even if they win, they're kind of helping us out. If you get my point.
Yeah.
So okay.
But I just don't think they'll have enough. I think Man City should have enough to get the points that they need, and I think Newcastle have got a better run in, and those 2 games in hand, like you said. So I think Newcastle will pick that last place. I just don't see Villa or Chelsea doing it. I don't think Chelsea will be in that fight come the last day of the season against us.
All right. Rob, what are you giving it out of 10 then?
So I'd give Villa's running a 7 out of 10 for hard, but I would say that it's not as hard as Chelsea's, and it does seem to me that they are on form and they are equipped to handle it, even though they're still in 2 other competitions as well. I think their squad, well, they showed how much depth they've got in the squad yesterday. These so-called hard games, I mean, the thing is, they beat Newcastle at home, I would say, and they will beat Fulham at home. Man City away, I think they're well equipped to cope with that. And then after that, those are the hard ones out of the way. So, I mean, for me, I would say that Villa are going to sneak that 5th spot, just on the basis of, because, I mean, I think that Chelsea are going to choke. I think Man City is the only one that I could see potentially catching us. So when we did this mathematically a few weeks ago, I had us on 71 points. Now, as long as Chris Wood comes back, and as long as we can cover the Ola Aina absence by a combination of Moreno and Williams, and we should still be able to do that. I am getting a bit worried about the fact that we're picking up injuries and we're picking up fatigue, and the manager doesn't seem to want to use the backup options that we've got. But I'm sticking to my 71 points. I just feel like Man City can, if they draw a level with us, they might have the goal difference as well.
And 71 points, Rob. You're looking at what? 3, 6, 9, 12,
71 would be 3rd, right? 71.
They've got to win. Yeah, they've got to get 19 points.
I'm saying he's saying 71 for us.
I think we can get 4 more wins, right? We should win
4 out of 7. You think we're going to win 4 out of 7?
Well, so okay, so look, we've got Leicester. We
8,
should be winning
7.
Leicester at home, Everton home, and Brentford at home. We should be winning those, right? We should be. When you consider who we've had recently, Arsenal, Man City, these are really, really tough games, and these teams haven't scored against us, right? The City ground is absolutely rocking at the moment. Yeah. If yesterday's game had been played at the City ground, I think we would have won. I think it's all coming down to our home form. Now, the funny thing is, we'll probably end up beating Chelsea on the last day, and we won't even need to. So I think
that could screw Chelsea over, which would be hilarious.
Well, exactly, but not only that, it's the 2 or 3 people they have to play before. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yes, Newcastle have the 2 games in hand, but there's question marks over the fitness of people like Isaac and Gordon, and I'm not sure that their squad has got that much depth when people like that are unavailable. I just feel like, Villa did it last year, and I think that they're going to be the fifth one. I think we'll be third or fourth, and Man City will be there with us. And I think,
I'm gone.
yeah, I think Newcastle. I don't know. I feel like they've peaked in the League Cup final. I'm just not sure that they're going to put to, if they win all these games in hands, but if I'd rather have points on the board at the moment like we've got. So,
well, just very quickly looking at Man City's running, they've got Palace next. That's going to be a tough game. Everton,
not at home. Not at home.
Yeah, Everton away, who just draw everything at the moment at Goodison. Villa at home, us in the cup. We're not looking at that right now. Then Wolves, that should be 3 points.
Oh, they're going to win those last three. They're going to win those last three. No problem.
Bournemouth. No, there's a couple more, I think. Yeah, so and then they've got Fulham away on the last day of the season.
Yeah, so they've got 7 games left, Man City, and I can see them getting 4 or 5 wins from those.
Newcastle's actually, if you have a look at Newcastle's, is tougher than I thought.
I don't know. I've always had it down. Pete keeps telling me how easy it is. Well, they got Leicester free win, Man U free win.
And then it's
Palace,
the last
tough. Yeah. Villa, that's a big game. That is a big game. Ipswich free win. Brighton could be tough.
Yeah, Chelsea and then
Chelsea, that's tough, maybe, or at least in terms of the scenario. Arsenal away. I mean, they'd have bottled it by then. Yeah. And Newcastle got.
It's not straightforward for any of them, but I still think we've got the better of all the teams.
I would say for me, boys, the hardest by a mile is this Chelsea one. Where are they?
Yeah,
this Chelsea one. I would not want this. If we had the points lead we have now and these games, I still wouldn't be that confident we'd get Europe. So they've got.
The thing with Chelsea is Chelsea have had a lot of injuries, and are their top players on form right now? I would say. No,
they're playing dead football right now.
Yeah. It's mad.
Have gone off the boil.
It's just mad how much they've relied on Nicholas Jackson since he's been out of the squad. It made Cole Palmer a worse player, and then Palmer's had his injuries and his illnesses and whatever. But Nicholas Jackson being out of the team has been the biggest drop in their performances as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but if you look at this, as you got to say their next Premier League games,
and Kunku is shocking, mate. I thought he'd be
he's a quality player.
I can see them losing at Fulham there. I can see them losing. Look,
you've got to give them 3 points. That's a free win at home, even though they lost away to them. But anyway, Fulham, that's tough.
Yeah.
Everton, you'd think they'd win that. Liverpool, are they on the beach or not? Newcastle away, very tough.
No, they're not winning either of those.
Then they got Man U at home. There's always beef there. And then they got us away on the last game of the season.
So I think by the time we get, I'll say this again. I don't think by the time they get to that last game that they'll be in contention for a Champions League place. I don't think they will be. I don't think.
Or if they are, then they'll bloody well deserve it because it means they've negotiated that run of game. Yeah,
everyone else is messed up and they've done well,
Yeah.
So basically, you see how we've turned this nicely full circle. Oh shit, what's happened?
100%. So we're going to play that Champions League anthem next season, or the end of the show.
So in essence,
I think we're hearing
if you look at how we've structured this podcast, which is like by no organization whatsoever, it talks about the improvement points. Some may have called us negative to start with. We then went on to talk about Chris Wood for about an hour.
International football.
Yeah. And then we brought it back around to you, hopefully built you up some hope in what's laying ahead. The gap is healthy, 4 points, barring what Newcastle do. But the saying is points on the board better than... What's the opposite of that? Not points on the board. Games in hand. Yeah. So, are we going to get Champions League? Probably, hopefully,
definitely,
maybe.
You just did that speech when you dropped it down, man.
Is he going to play the thing? Is he going to play the thing?
I'm not playing the thing, man.
He said probably. He didn't say definitely.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a lead up to playing the theme.
No, I was just pointing out, guys, that we ain't always that negative, man. Look, we just build you up. But I want to see how negative you lot in the chat are. So I put a poll up. Are we getting UCL? Right. Yeah. Let's see where the negative Nelly's in. Bloody hell, it's started at 100%. All right, no, there's a few. Right, if you're part of this 8% that's just voted, get your votes in. I want some numbers here to validate this data. It's at the top of your live chat. Hit that button there.
Yeah.
95%. Okay. If you're part of the 10% now that's saying no, tell me why. What's worrying you? Look at negative Jonathan, man. 50-50. It's not 50-50, man.
Wow, Jonathan.
This is interesting. Neil's saying yes, but maybe 4th or 5th. We've been in 3rd place since I think the 8th of December. No one's
just
dethroned us.
Yeah.
Don't we have a 92% chance of getting it?
93.3.
Even up to reporting us up there.
Well, that was
Yeah, but that
before
was
the Villa
before we
game.
lost.
Have they recalculated it?
I don't know. Has
since-
anyone seen it? I don't want to look. It might depress.
No, I just have to watch Matt SB tomorrow and see what the update is.
Yeah, but it would have gone down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Depressed me.
It is worth mentioning that we are 2 out of the 8 teams in the quarterfinals, aren't we? Of the Champions League, we are 2 out of the 8. So it's still possible that one of those could win it, and then that opens it up for everybody.
What?
How many teams have we still got in the Champions League? Are Villa still in it?
Two.
Yeah, Arsenal and Villa. Now, obviously, Arsenal are never going to win a Champions League, but just if they did, that would get another team in, wouldn't it?
Rob, man, how many times I told you this? Like, you just don't listen.
Go on.
You're already in the top.
It doesn't matter. Unless Arsenal are going to drop out the top 5.
All right, okay. So it would need to be Villa that win it.
No, it still wouldn't matter.
Yeah, if they're not in the top 5.
Don't you
No,
get an
it
extra
wouldn't
one?
matter.
All right, if Villa come 6th and if Villa come 5th and won it, they would take our spot if we were 6th. Is that what you're saying?
No.
No.
You can't look. You cannot get into the Champions League if you are below 5th.
Even if you win it.
As in, from our perspective, you can't. If Villa or Arsenal finished like 9th or 6th or whatever, and they won it, yeah, they'd get in. But it doesn't impact the top 5.
Okay, so say Villa finished 6th and won the Champions League, the top 5 get in. Yeah, and they get in as well. So that's 6.
So how does that help us?
No, I see what you're saying.
Villa
Right, so
help
if Villa are 5th and we're 6th and they win it, the English clubs don't get a bonus slot.
No, you don't get a bonus.
Oh, that's shit. I hope they lose then.
I'm pretty sure of it. Opta says, Matt, I hate you.
Oh, has it dropped?
Oh, man, it was 93.3%, man.
He's trolling, man.
Matt, are you trolling? Are you trolling us?
It kind of dropped that much after one
That's
game.
nearly
especially when
50-50, you know.
Other results went our way. No.
That's 23% from being a 50-50 coin toss.
You're making it sound worse than it is. It's 74%, bro.
Yeah, so if this season plays out 4 times, one of the 4 times we don't get in.
Yeah, 1 out of 4 times, yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
You're not trolling. I hate you. Okay. Wazza had said we've done this one. Good luck to Ant, top man, all the best.
It's
You make it sound like Ant's about to go into
85.6%.
Labour. Sorry, sir?
I just I'm on Google. It's 85.6%.
You see, trollers.
You troller, Matt. Matt, I thought we had a better relationship than that. Unless Tom's trolling, which I don't think's out the realms of-
No, he wouldn't troll. Not from
Unless
business
it's about
class.
Ed.
I don't know who I believe anymore. Man. I don't know who I
It
believe.
says, according to the Opta computer, Forest are now favourites to secure a top 5 finish, doing so with an 85.6% of simulations.
Okay, but Tom, what date is that you're reading it from?
Today.
Yes.
Right, Matt, you're getting banned.
Yeah. No.
But Tom, is it today before or after the fixtures this afternoon?
Is it your today or our today?
So it's my today, so I'm 7 hours behind.
So that's yesterday.
Fine.
No,
It's fine.
is that tomorrow?
Don't delve any deeper. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm confused, man.
Let's call Matthew Redgate a troll and leave it at that.
I like Matt, though. I like Matt. All right, well, let's leave it at that. I'm gonna send you over. I promised Carlos would send you over, but you can only go over if you call him Carlos the Clown. Okay, so I want you guys to spam Carlos the Clown. Please do it in this chat. It'd be funny.
Poll result.
Oh, what is the poll result?
Well, it was about 90%, so it's over 100 votes. I'll take that. 89% have gone.
89% said Forest are getting UCL. 12% of you.
Are trolls.
I'm joking. All right, so I want to see Carlos the Clown. I'll even write it for you in the chat. Carlos the Clown. Just copy and paste that, and then send it over to him. We're back tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Monday. Probably got something going on. So make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure you've subscribed as well. Forrester 84 or 73%, depending on who's trolling us, likely to get Champions League. I'll take that. If you offered me that at the start of the season, said that, I'd have taken it. So we'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.